video is an introduction to knitCompanion for MacBook. And that means if you have a MacBook and you've been waiting to give knitCompanion a try, it is now available to you. Or if you've been using knitCompanion on your touchscreen device, your iPhone or your iPad, you can now take it to the big screen and use knitCompanion on your MacBook using your same subscription. In either case, you'll want to go to the Apple App Store and search for knitCompanion, one word, and download the free version of the software. Really, the free version of the software has the tools that we use the most, and we kind of find our place on the knitCompanion range, right? There are people who are happy using the free version to interact with their patterns and zoom in and keep count and use the highlighter bar. And then there are people on the other end of this range who are using a lot of features of the software and the one-tap markers and setting up their charts and voice commands and everything else, and then the people in between. And my point with saying this is that it's a very robust piece of software, but it doesn't have to be complicated. You can just use the features that you enjoy using. It doesn't have to be confusing to you at all. It's very simple to use. And knitCompanion in MacBook looks a lot like knitCompanion in iPad. And so the videos that we have out, we have a bunch of videos out already. The videos we have out for knitCompanion really all apply to the MacBook as well. And if you're on your MacBook, you can click the little eye in the upper right-hand corner to see that playlist. Or if you're on your iPad, there is a link in the video description field below to the playlist. Now, the reason I'm giving you this is because in those videos, I demonstrate on the iPad, but the videos still apply to MacBook as well. It looks the same. Really, they're just a few little differences. In this video, it's kind of a broad introduction. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the features. So if you're new, I really encourage you to start with the first video and give it a try. Little 15-minute nuggets of video. And give it a try because I will explain the basic features, like getting a pattern into the app, things like that. I'll go into it with a lot more detail in those videos than I will in this one. Like I said, this is more of an introduction. Let me see what else I have on my list here. Oh, there are a few differences, and that's the other thing I'm going to point out. A few differences that are kind of unique to the laptop, to the MacBook, that we don't have in the iPad, like keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that. So I'm going to explain those here, which, if you're just using a MacBook, it doesn't make any difference. But if you're switching back and forth, also I'm going to show you how to save a project file. So if you are switching back and forth between your iPad and your MacBook, you have the project exactly the way you left it on your MacBook, and then you take your iPad in your knitting bag somewhere. The pattern looks exactly the same with your counters and everything, just the way you left them. We're going to cover that as well. I think that's it. I am excited to show you this on the big screen. Let's take a look. Okay, here I am in my MacBook, ready to go. I'm going to keep you focused on the screen here and not so much on my hands and what they're doing, because I'm sure you can imagine there's a keyboard and a touchpad off screen. And I have knitCompanion. The app is already in my dock here. I'll open that up. And things look the way you would expect them to look if you've been using it on your iPad. If you're new, again, I want to stress, I'm going to go over some things here pretty quickly just to take a look at how it looks in iPad and the differences, looks in MacBook and the differences between iPad and MacBook. I encourage you, if you're new, to at least watch the first video in the playlist where I go through opening files and stuff much more slowly. But for a quick overview of what we have here, I'm in Projects. I'm going to select PDFs. And these are the PDFs, the pattern files that I have in the app already. Up here I have Local, Ravelry, and Dropbox. Local is what I have in here already, Ravelry. If I click that, knitCompanion will prompt you to log into your Ravelry account, and then your entire Ravelry library is available to you right here. That is the very easiest way to get a pattern into knitCompanion. And then Dropbox is also an option. If you have a Dropbox account, knitCompanion will prompt you to log in. And then if you have a PDF pattern somewhere, you can just drop it into Dropbox and then access it in knitCompanion right here. But really, if you are on the Apple platform, and the more comfortable I get with the Apple platform, the more I realize how easy iCloud is. iCloud makes things really easy. So I'm going to show you how to get a pattern out of iCloud. I'm going to click Finder and then select iCloud Drive. And because I've been using knitCompanion on my iPad, I have a knitCompanion folder already with a bunch of files in it. And these are both project and PDF files. If you see a file that you want to open and it has a little cloud with an arrow next to it, just click that little cloud with the arrow and that will download it so that you have the option of opening it up in knitCompanion. Here's the file that I want to open. I'm going to highlight it and then 2-finger click, and then I get Open With as one of the options, and and knitCompanion is one of the options in there. Easy, easy. Boom, there's my pattern. It's still a PDF. It's not a project yet, but at the top of the screen, if I click Start Project, I can give it a name. And boy, am I happy to have a full-size keyboard. I love it. And here's my pattern. And a quick overview of what we see. This looks just like it does on the iPad here. We have the pages of our pattern. We have Knit Edit Setup, and the counters are over here on the side. And I'll show you something here. Here's a page with a chart, and I can 2-finger zoom on this chart to get it really big. Look at that. Now I'm going to bring my iPad in just for comparison because I am perfectly happy with my iPad. Don't get me wrong. But this is the size I've been working with. And here's the size of my chart now, the screen size. Boom. So if you need a little extra help seeing a chart or anything else in your pattern, the MacBook might be the way to go for that pattern. So here I am. I'm in my project. I am working and changing things. You know, I'm clicking the counters over here. The point is that I'm changing things, right? And if I want to switch back to my iPad, I want to save this as a project. Because when I open it on my iPad, you know, I have my iPad in my knitting bag and I'm going to be on the road or whatever. I want to have everything exactly the way I left it here when I open it again on my iPad. So now I'm going to save this as a project. And you don't have to do this. If I close out this project and I want to open it again on my MacBook again, no problem. Everything's exactly the way I left it. But when I'm switching between the two devices, I want to save this as a project. So I'm over here in the Projects tab, not PDFs, Project, and here's the pattern that I want to open on my iPad later today. I'm going to click the 3 little dots in the bottom right of the screen, and there's a box with an arrow pointing up. That's the share box. If I select that, it gives me the option of saving this project. And I'm going to actually call this Chestnut Hill Project so you can see the difference. And it's saving it to knitCompanion, iCloud. I'll click Save. Whoops. I did that once already. It said, do you want to replace the other file? And sure, I'll replace the other file because this is updated now. So pretending that I'm in my iPad now, I can open iCloud Drive in my iPad, go to the knitCompanion folder, and you'll see here I have Chestnut Hill Project, and the extension on that is .kcp, which means knitCompanion Project. And that is the file that is exactly the way I left it with my counters and everything else that I set up. So when I open it on another device. So if you're switching between your devices and changing things, you'll want to save it as a project each time. If you stay on the same device, there's no need to do that. knitCompanion will save your project as you have it each time. Okay, let's talk about something else that's unique to MacBook, and that's this menu up here. And if you are in full screen, which I will do right now, something I learned because I'm a newbie to MacBooks, is that menu disappears, but if you put your mouse cursor over it, it comes back. So when I'm here on the home page, either in projects or PDFs and not with a project open, here is my menu, File, View, and Help. And if I click File, I have the option for Open File, and then after each command you'll see grayed out characters, and that's the keyboard shortcut for Mac users who are so into keyboard shortcuts. And for Open File, the keyboard shortcut is Command O, and I just showed you how to open a file from iCloud by opening Finder and opening iCloud, but you can also get to opening a file from iCloud or anywhere else on your computer from here. We have View and the keyboard shortcuts for View, and the options here are the same options that are here. So there's nothing really different in here, it's just a different way of accessing things that you see on the screen otherwise, which is unique to MacBook. And then also the Help button. And when I have a project open, that menu is a little bit different. And I have the full version of the software here. So I have my one-tap marker options, also with the keyboard shortcuts next to it. Scribble, we're going to cover that in a minute. View, which is Knit Edit Setup, which you see also here on the screen, a different way of accessing those. And let's now talk about Scribble. And that's this option here that you have with the Essentials, the Setup and Essentials version of the software. And this is a way to write on your patterns. And if you are using Scribble in your iPad, when you tap that button, whoops, I'm making everything jiggle. When you tap that button, you get a little pop-up box with the palettes for the colors and the pens, and that's how you make those choices. A little bit different in MacBook. When you highlight that, you go to Scribble, all of your options for Scribble are in here. You want to use a pen, highlighter, eraser, and the color of pen that you want to use. I am clumsy with, with the Scribble feature and writing with the trackpad, so I really just use the highlighter, and I'm not even very good at that, you see? I use the highlighter to highlight, you know, if I'm highlighting the size that I'm knitting or whatever. I'm not very good at drawing, so I'll show you now what I do instead. I'm going to turn off Scribble, and up here we have the options for showing the top of the page and showing the window at the top of the page and showing the window at the bottom of the page. This first button shows the page numbers, and the second one is the bottom. I'm going to click that and pull up the bottom window. Can we say window in MacBook? And here I can actually take project notes with the keyboard, which is what I prefer to do because I'm really sloppy with the trackpad. So I put my project notes down here. Now, while I have this open, we can talk about one last difference with the iPad and the MacBook versions of knitCompanion app. And if you're watching videos, if you have videos, like my patterns all have videos links in them. If you're watching videos while you have your pattern open, in the iPad you can do that down here, or you can drag the video screen for picture-in-picture anywhere in the pattern. In MacBook, the only difference is you can still watch videos, but they're going to stay down here in this window. And of course, you can resize this window as big or small as you need it. Or click the button up here to make it go away. If you're not watching the video, you just can't picture-in-picture drag it around. And let me see, let me look at my notes real quick here to make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I think I got all of it. I think I got all of it. And that's it. And remember, this is an overview of some of the features in knitCompanion. Be sure to jump to the playlist to watch the videos for a deeper dive where I go through the features of the software more slowly than I do here for sure. Anyway, I hope you enjoy taking knitCompanion to the big screen. I hope you have as much fun as I'm having with it. Good luck.